What is up, my Sportalites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Destiny. Today, we're going to continue patrolling around Europa, gathering up all the region chests and finishing off the last of the lost sectors. Now, I said between episodes I was going to continue working on Born in Darkness, and I did. I got 2 strikes done. Was very easily able to get the ability kills. I had them done like halfway through the first strike with relatively little issue. So we're going to be just grabbing all of the region chests here in Asterian Abyss to start things off, and then we're going to head on up to the, what is it? Why do I always forget things as soon as I start? Eventide Ruins, my goodness, as soon as I start these episodes, I swear, that's when my brain just goes, nope, and deletes everything within it as far as information goes. I mean, you would think after Let's Playing for how many years that I would finally have that down, but no, it's never quite 100%, I can promise you that. Okay, so this region chest, okay, I seem to have gone past it a little. I believe it's like off of a cliff somewhere or sitting in a fissure. There you are, sitting over here. Good thing I have Stompies on, or I probably wouldn't have made that. That was kind of the worst way I could have gone about getting that, but let's head on over and grab a couple more. Still trying to get my Glimmer back up. I actually bought myself several light fragments once about 4 or 5 episodes ago, and now I'm like really low on Glimmer, so this is actually helping me out. I usually like to try and do that before I start going after all these region chests, just because it is such a valuable or an easy way of getting myself a lot of Glimmer. Now this one right here, ignore this thing, that is for later. You might have seen a couple of those around here on Europa. Those are actually part of the current seasonal quest, Season of the Seraph, something that I don't even know if we're going to be able to get to actually taking care of those at any given time, because I have so much to do and I have about a month left to do it. And 2 of those weeks I won't even be able to record. So yeah, it's gonna be tight. I'm gonna see if I can try to fit that in there, but I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. All right, this last one, I want to say this one's actually up high on top of this tower, possibly. I could be wrong. Let me just make sure I'm standing right on top of it on the map. I basically am. Okay, so yeah, I do think it's on the top of this tower. Good thing I already have Stompies on to make my job a little easier if I can actually make my jumps here. I think, yeah, he probably has the right way of going about it, because it doesn't look like I can actually, well, I guess I could go up here and then try to make the jump. Yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense. And now, once we're up here, boom, there's our region chest now, and hey, we got actually a legendary from that one, although I'm sure it's no good. Let's head on over to Eventide Ruins, and we've got a lost sector to take care of there. Like I said, a few more region chests to grab, and then we are going to be finishing the Born in Darkness quest today to get our first aspect, which is going to be great. And we're going to have to go over each of the aspects once we do that, so we can talk about which ones are the best and which ones are the worst. Now, got Ether resupply over here, which I'm not too worried about. I'm actually going to get the region chests first before we do the Lost Sector this time, which is not something I did the other times, simply because I would like to end it on this final one, because it is actually a pretty interesting Lost Sector. Now I'm going to kill this Ultra here really quickly. If he can stop dodging my attacks, please. Go away. Thank you. Grab all that. We get some more weapons intel. We also get some Reborn key codes, which that's for something that we're going to have to do a little bit later on, but that is something that allows you to get access to a couple of other things, a couple of other interesting things. Let's see. Now, where is this chest at? I can't remember. Is it in here? Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's what I thought. Had a feeling. Now, do pay attention every single time, and I think I've pointed this out before, but I'd like to do so again. Every single time it gets stormy like this, this is when you want to look out for those high-value targets. They almost always coincide with the storms. The storms that are actually strong enough to knock your Sparrow around while you're riding on it, so that is something to pay attention to. So, oh my gosh, the homing properties on those shurikens are absolutely ridiculous, which is why they're so freaking fun to use. Probably my favorite part of the Stasis subclass, and I'm not even kidding when I say that. It's just so satisfying when you get like a cluster of like 4 enemies and they all just take the individual hits, just boom, 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 one after the other. It's really awesome. Okay, that one requires a data key, so I can't get that one. I want to say, there it is. Yep. I'm actually like remembering these region chests a lot better. Probably because this was only, you know, almost, what, 2 years ago which wasn't nearly as long ago as, like, frickin' Shadowkeep and Forsaken at the time that I'm recording all this stuff, so I gotta say, it hasn't been nearly as bad. Now, the Lost Sector is actually kind of dead center in this area. Really not all that hard to locate, track down, and whatnot. So let me head up here, and I think the last one, I want to say it's up on top of one of the cranes, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's directly behind me. Well, hold on a moment. Is it? No, I can't get up there. So let's head all the way towards the back by this guy. I'm going to ignore him for a minute. By the way, this is a really cool combination to use with your glacier grenades. I'll show you something. Do that, and then do this. If you can actually get it to the wave to go all the way through them all, it's probably better to shoot to the side, but it does a whole lot more damage that way. It's actually quite effective, gotta say. All right, so, is this the spot? No, is it really up top? It actually might be up top. I didn't think it was, but it is very possible that it is. Let me just 100% verify before I decide to jump the gun here. Like, is it seriously? No, I don't think it is. I mean, is it up here? No. I seem to actually be at a loss with this one. Okay, now hold on a moment. If we head on over this way, there is actually a path that goes all the way back here. There you are. That seems more reasonable, I would have to say. And there we go. We have all of the region chests here on Europa done. Now let's head on over to the last lost sector, which is over this way. Apparently this guy was trying to rescue the skiff, but apparently abandoned it. I'm not going to help him because, well, I'm not doing it for him, because he seems to be just kind of AFK at the moment. So let's just move on, and we're going to want to jump up through here. And now we're going to be heading on into the most interesting lost sector in all of Europa. I actually really, really like this one, although it is kind of a pain in the neck when you're doing it on Legend difficulty, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. So, we're going to head down here. We're going to start this lost sector with Fallen. Now, don't get used to it because this is the only room where you're going to find them. There is a captain in here somewhere. And like I have so far, I'm going to be using exclusively... There he is. I'm going to exclusively use No Time to Explain in here if I can, just to kill absolutely everything. I'm going to also grab that Glimmer as I go, as well as this blue, I suppose. Now, once we head on in here, it's all Vex from here on out. And there is something really interesting about this lost sector that you're going to notice. You actually get help with this one. You see this little cage right here? If I break this open, we have ourselves these guys, these little Braytech security frames, and they're going to move through the lost sector with us and actually shoot down enemies. Now, they don't do a whole lot of damage, but it is enough that they are there to supplement the process. But the only thing that I don't like about these Braytech security frames is that even though we're fighting Vex in here, they specifically aim for the head. Now, you know the problem with that, right? It's because when you shoot a Vex's head off, instead of it being the crit spot, it just enrages the thing, and then they start to run at you. So if you leave the Braytech security frames to their own devices for too long, you will just find that there is a bunch of headless Vex all trying to chase you down with single-minded aggression, and that is not very fun. So while they are helpful at doing damage, they also are a little bit unhelpful in that particular regard. Really, the only time where I appreciate it is with Hobgoblins, because Hobgoblins will not ever heal themselves once their heads have been removed. So that's pretty good. I mean, they can start the healing process in the same burst that you knock their head off, but that's really about it. So you've got, like you can see right here, there's a Goblin they've shot the head off of, and there's another one. You can see that happens quite frequently with these things. Now that we've taken care of a few of these enemies, I'm going to use that thing to, if I can, get this to actually work. There we go. That's what I wanted. And let's knock that one out. And now let's just use No Time to Explain for the rest of these enemies here. I'm gonna actually check up on my catalyst progress here soon, so give me a minute. But there we go. And once we kill all of these, the good news is that they aren't going to proceed into the next room until we do. So that's not like they're going to just complete the lost sector for us entirely. Not that I mean, they can, but it takes absolutely forever for them to kill the boss, so I would not bank on them doing that anyway. Okay, so I'm going to check catalyst progress on this thing really quickly. I am 34%. Wow, only a third of the way there. That is kind of unfortunate. All right, let's keep going. So the boss isn't going to spawn in immediately. You got some Vex to kill before they do. You're going to get the red flashing light before they spawn, just like in that one... Oh, geez. Just like in that one Moon Lost sector, so keep that in mind. There are also multiple wyverns that spawn in this room, so make sure you deal with them. We got the first one here, and then another one spawns while the boss is moving around as well. And the boss in here is not a pushover. It's actually the strongest boss of the 3 Lost Sector bosses, so... Also, one thing that is kind of nice, though, is the Braytech security frames will actually, like, take the goblins' aggression at times. So that's pretty good. All right, here we go. So this one is not super powerful or anything. It just has a lot more health than the other one. So we're going to focus on this Hydra immediately. I'm going to use a super on it while I focus on everything else in this room. It is going to teleport all around the room, which if you are doing the... If you are doing the legend version of this, can get really annoying really quickly. And knock that. He is like teleporting on top of me too, which is incredibly annoying. There we go. You can absolutely get the double melee in there to freeze him. There we go. Get a little more damage. Now let's try to get rewind again going, so I can do more damage. And then, oh, I was gonna do a linear fusion shot, but then he teleported on top of me. Oh, look, another wyvern. Hold on. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, now for that, I'm going to do all that damage there, and that's going to shatter them. We're going to have a much more efficient way of shattering the crystals in future. Actually, a couple more efficient ways in future once we get certain aspects and fragments. So, yeah, let's grab those. And there we go. All the lost sectors on Europa are complete. Now, with all of that done, we're going to head back towards Braytech Exoscience once again, and we are going to finish off Born in Darkness. Okay, here we are. So we're going to want to head on through this way. This is where I believe the Technocrat Empire hunt took us.
Do it, Guardian. Wielding light and dark at the same time. As long as you use it all for good, I'll be by your side.
Aw, Ghost. That was incredibly sweet and also unexpected. I did not think you were going to say that here. Stop freaking circling around me, please. Thank you. All right, let's unseal this thing. And we're going to want to head on through and see what we can find as we go through the most well-preserved parts of Braytech Exoscience. There's actually one other area we haven't yet been in yet. Also, we're going to want to make sure we grab this right here. Let's unseal that. And that is part of what we need, I believe, to get the arms, but the other part is in the actual Eternity section, which I don't think we're in just yet. Yes. So we have to go a little bit further. It's actually where we're headed right now, so it'll be fine. We'll be able to get both of those. But I still need to get all the quests for all of the armor pieces from Varix. We will be talking to him in the next episode, I can promise you that. Because in this same recording session, I need to get far enough that I've actually unlocked a very specific type of quest that is rotates on a weekly basis, and I would like to do it now because I am literally recording this on a Monday. So let's try to hurry as fast as we can. Okay. Because then I'd have to frickin' wait a whole other week before I'm able to do the next section. I wanted to make sure I grab that Outlander's cover. And let's continue. Let's keep following our way through here. Just ignore the Rees Reborn key codes on the left, by the way. I'm not going to be doing anything with those. I really only killed that Ultra because they always have that elevated chance of dropping like Prime Engrams and exotics. And so whenever I see one that's relatively easy to kill, I try to actually spend the time on it and do it. So here we are in Eternity. Oh, okay. That door did not spawn in immediately, and then that like almost jump scared me. Goodness. All right, let's kill all of them. We got servitors in here, which is good. I am supposed to be killing more of those, and I don't have nearly enough for weapons intel. How are we doing on that, by the way? Let's see. Yep, see, I'm 7 servitors short, but only 1 captain short. I had a feeling it was disproportionate based on the way things have been going. But, all right, we need to keep going, and we are going to look for that chest as we go on through here. I don't know if it's in this room. I don't think it is. But here we go. We're going to have another group to take care of. So, here we go. There's the guy, Wenix. Salvation Elite. Let me help you get rid of those crystals. Ooh, that is some good damage. And he does count as a captain for the weapons intel, so I will not complain about that. And now that we have killed off his platoon, bring the skeleton key to the Exo Stranger in the Bunker E15 Lost Sector in Eventide Ruins. And we are going to have to do that, but luckily I don't need to actually show you the bunker E15 lost sector again. So I will just meet you over there in a moment, but after we grab ourselves this chest, which I want to say is in the next room, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to move through here until we find it. All right, here it is up on the middle balcony in the second to last room before you get to the last platforming area up to where the Technocrat is. And there we go. Aged armor gotten. Europa arms complete. And now I'm going to go hit that bunker E15 lost sector real quick, and I will see you at the end in just a moment. All right, and there we go. Now let's proceed with that done.
It's a strange thing. Sisters alive again at the same time. Me wishing I didn't remember my past, Anna searching constantly for hers. All this time I've kept her searching, kept her away from desire. Fortunately for those of us in need, Clovis left plenty behind. He wanted it that way. You brought the key?
Everything we're looking for is in there?
Clovis was a man so obsessed with legacy he recorded practically everything he did, including every body he left buried in our family's past. History loves referring to his kind as great men, remembering their successes while ignoring the atrocities committed to get there. Make no mistake, Clovis was ambitious, ruthless, a tyrant. That knowledge is why I've kept Anna searching. She's not ready to hear about any of it. Or even about me, for that matter. We're not here to learn who Clovis was, either. Only to gain what he found experimenting with the darkness. Stasis. If we're lucky, this journal is our key to unlocking its greater potential. We'll have answers once I can decrypt it further. Thank you for your help. When I know more, you'll know more.
You got it, Elsie. All right, now with that finally done, we can head back to the Beyond and finally get ourselves our first stasis aspect, which in turn will allow us to finally get our first stasis fragments. Yeah, 2 for 1. Great. Okay. So real quick, and because we've also finished that, we are allowed to place something as a memento right here. That is, I actually can't remember how I got that one. How did I get that one? I don't know. It was some little gauntlet I got from Aramis or something like that, but we can place that little memento to show that we have made some progress here in Beyond Light. Now let's talk to the Exo Stranger, and now we get to pick our first aspect. So turn to the Crux of Darkness. Oh, and we don't actually get to pick at all.
This journal is fairly encrypted, and I'm unable to bypass most of it. Probably to keep it away from, well, me. I stood by his side for a time. It's why I look like this. He needed a guinea pig, and after Dad passed, I needed a father figure. Eventually, I realized my mistake and joined my sisters in trying to take our grandfather down. So Clovis took precautions to keep us from interfering. Didn't want us exposing every dark truth about every unethical experiment. And so here we are, encrypted journal and all. I think it's about time we extract some good from the bad.
Okay, the Exo Stranger has pored over Clovis' digital journal and discovered that despite learning more about stasis from the available pages, much of it is still encrypted. Turns out Clovis didn't trust many, including his family. Though this is not the Exo Stranger's first time seeing it, she has never been able to fully decrypt it to further understand its secrets. But with you at her side, decrypting the journal finally feels like a reality. In order to decrypt and explore it further, the Exo Stranger once again asks you to empower the skeleton key with stasis energy, believing that Clovis installed it in her, hoping she would use it one day to continue his work and further his legacy. And there we go. Another one done. Born in Darkness 2. So I need to go get this aspect done before I can grab these fragment quests. That is something I'm going to be doing in the next episode. I promise. We're going to also start on Varix's quest in the next episode, but might as well take the time to explain these aspects really quickly. So we're going to be getting Shatter Dive first, which is the aspect of control. Shatter Dive is literally a downward dive that the hunter does that will shatter all stasis crystals around it. This is a way of immediately shattering that grenade that I have been throwing down, the Glacier Grenade, and instantly just causing a giant field of damage. It's also a pretty good mobility tool for getting the hell out of dodge when you are stuck floating in the air because it immediately puts you on the ground. Pretty good. Next aspect is aspect of destruction, which is Winter's Shroud. This is basically just a slow ability that slows everything within your immediate vicinity. So you use a dodge and it sends out a bunch of stasis around you that slows everything very close to you. It's a nice way of getting away from big groups of enemies, slowing them down and allowing you to follow up very easily. If they are already slowed or already affected by stasis, it actually just outright freezes them, which is incredibly nice and allows you to, again, chain stasis shatters together. Then we have the aspect of influence, which is Grim Harvest. Grim Harvest, every single time you get a kill with stasis, spawns stasis crystals. Stasis crystals are then used to recharge your melee energy. We saw something about stasis crystals, if you remember correctly, in one of our, I believe it's sitting on my Dreambane strides. Yeah, sitting in one of our elemental well mods. Which one is it? This one right here, elemental shards. Stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells, so you can also double up their effect in that regard. This is how you get stasis shards, is by having Grim Harvest active. You can also even get a fragment that allows stasis shards to actually home in on you and come to you without you having to run around and pick them up. But it's a good way of recharging your melee very, very quickly, on top of the fact that the hunter melee can be used twice. This in tandem allows you to also then create more Grim Stasis Shards with Grim Harvest and so on and so forth. Basically allows you to use your melee a lot. That's the long and short of it. Last one is aspect of interference, the Touch of Winter. This empowers your stasis grenades. Now, we've only unlocked the one, so I'm not going to talk about this one too much, but it basically changes how they behave. So right now, all we have is the Glacier Grenade. I'll talk about the other grenades as we unlock them later, but all you need to know about the Glacier Grenade is it basically changes the pattern of it while also creating a stasis crystal in the center, an additional stasis crystal, and this is important in regards to fragments and how they work a little bit later on. But all you need to know is that instead of the glacier going out in a row like a wall, it instead forms in a circle pattern, which is really good for throwing directly on top of very strong enemies to make sure that it all hits in a very central location, if that makes sense. So sometimes you want to have it, sometimes you don't. It really depends on what kind of activity you're doing. I would say that the Touch of Winter is better for overall damage, while the not without Touch of Winter, it's better for overall coverage. There is more to it, though, with the other stasis grenades. Once we unlock those, I will be sure to explain those in the future. Guys, thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Destiny. I hope you all enjoyed it very, very much. Next time, we are going to get ourselves that aspect, and then we're going to finally start on, well, not Europa Legs, even though that's the set quest. No, we're going to finally start on Reclaiming Europa. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.